Hello, everyone, and welcome to the season premiere of the NEC Women's Basketball On The Run podcast. We're talking women's hoops with Ralph Ventre. And Ralph, let's jump right into it. You have two teams alone at the top. What can you tell me about them?
Well, we take a look at where they stand, not even 25% of the way into conference play, so it's still early, but two undefeated teams at the top of the standings, Robert Morris and Bryant, both 4-0. If you look at the preseason poll, it's no surprise that these two teams are leading the pack, number 1 and 2 in the coaches' predicted order of finish. And now let's examine why Robert Morris and Bryant are the two undefeated teams atop the Northeast Conference standings. Well, there are some similarities, and it starts with defense. These two teams are number 1 and 2 in scoring defense in the Northeast Conference. Then, when you look at field goal percentage defense in Northeast Conference play, Robert Morris and Bryant, once again, number 1 and 2. And Kyle, there's one more similarity between these two first place co-inhabitants, and that would be on the glass, rebounding margin. Bryant, the number 1 rebounding team in the Northeast Conference by a good amount, but then it's Robert Morris. They're positive on the boards as well. These two teams are playing defense. They're rebounding the ball effectively. Is it really a surprise at all that they are both 4-0 in Northeast Conference play? Because as we've seen over the years, rebounding, defense, that's a recipe for success at any level of basketball.
Definitely, Ralph. But like you said, it's still early in the season, so we'll see how these two teams progress towards the end of conference play.
Absolutely, Kyle, and it won't be easy for them to maintain that first place standing, especially with St. Francis U and Sacred Heart both 3-1 in that tie for first place. And Sacred Heart, they lost their first league game at Robert Morris, but they've won 3 in a row since. And then St. Francis U's only loss is to Sacred Heart, 81-77 at home. But St. Francis U, they've won 3 of the 4 NEC games, and the common theme in those 3 wins is, did they dictate the tempo? The answer was yes. When they get teams to play at their tempo and they score into the 80s, they are 3-0 in Northeast Conference play. So Sacred Heart, St. Francis U, they're right there. And one other team we want to look at in this Where They Stand segment, it would be the LIU Brooklyn Blackbirds. First-year head coach Stephanie Oliver, they were picked last in the Northeast Conference preseason poll. Well, they're 2-2 now. They won their first 2 league games. They are great defending the 3, and Coach Oliver is getting the most out of her team. So look for LIU to be a dark horse, possibly a surprise team as the season progresses.
All right, Ralph, we'll see how these teams do as the season progresses, but let's take a Twitter timeout.
Yeah, give me that Twitter TO right now. I'll take it. And we're going to look at 2 tweets. First, from JM Netter 33, better known as Sacred Heart head coach Jessica Minetti. And just what we were talking about, Sacred Heart is red hot. Coach Minetti likes what she sees. Things are coming together up in Fairfield. And one area I know that the Pioneers needed to improve on was the turnover margin. And this was something that Coach Minetti was stressing earlier in the season. They were negative in the turnover margin during non-conference play. Well, in the 4 league games, they're 3-1. In the 4 league games, they are +4 per game in turnover margin, and that's second best in the league. So yes, the team is getting better as the season progresses, as Jess Minetti notes, and that has a lot to do with the fact they are now taking care of the basketball. We'll switch it over to another head coach here who likes to take to his Twitter account, and that's Joe Haig. Coach Joe Haig up at St. Francis U. He had this reply to an NEC Sports tweet, and he felt it necessary to give kudos to St. Francis Brooklyn's Leah Fetchko. Of course, Leah Fetchko had a tremendous night when the Terriers hosted Joe Haig's Red Flash. The Red Flash did dictate the tempo. They won 83-76, but Leah Fetchko's effort did not go unnoticed, especially by the opposing coach. This senior leader does it all. 20 points, 5 assists, 5 steals. She's all over the floor, and we will see a real-life example of that in our next segment as we move to my favorite play of the week.
All right, Ralph. Well, it's time for our new segment, Play of the Week. And
I jumped the gun a little bit there.
You prefaced it a little bit with Leah Fetchko. Tell us about the play.
Well, it's not a designed play, so to speak. It's a bit of a broken play, but this may be where Leah Fetchko's at her best. First off, you have to like the play because they get Alex Delaney the open look for the 3 in the corner. She misses it, loose ball. Who's there? Leah Fetchko. She taps it to herself, cleans up the rebound, and then right up strong for the easy 2 points. This is Leah Fetchko in a nutshell. She's always going for those 50-50 balls. The effort is always there. The hustle plays, the defense. She always seems to be in the right place at the right time. Leah Fetchko. Oh, and later on in this game, she scored her 1,000th career point. What a night for St. Francis Brooklyn senior Leah Fetchko.
All right, well, congratulations to Leah Fetchko on her 1,000th career point. Ralph, let's take a look ahead. We got some games coming up this weekend. What can you tell me about them?
Well, my favorite segment of the show, What's on Tap, Kyle? Full slate on Saturday, full slate on Monday. It'll be that way throughout the remainder of the season as we are rolling along in Northeast Conference play. Now, if you like the three-point shot, you're going to want to watch one of these St. Francis U games this weekend. Freshman Jessica Kovac, she leads the nation in three-pointers made, about 3.7 makes per game. She is the leading freshman scorer in the nation, also the reigning NEC Women's Basketball Player of the Week. So you want to take a look at a fine freshman, St. Francis U on NEC front row. Now Sacred Heart's next game at St. Francis Brooklyn on Saturday. Hannah Kimmel fans are going to want to tune into this one. The junior forward for Sacred Heart, 999 career points. Her next bucket, it'll be a milestone. So if you want to watch Kimmel make Sacred Heart history, Pioneers at St. Francis Brooklyn, Saturday on front row. And then, of course, if you like rebounding and defense, you have Robert Morris and Bryant. Can they remain undefeated? Robert Morris has 4 players averaging 5 rebounds per game or more. Bryant has the NEC rebounding leader, and Brianna Rucker over 11 caroms per game. Both teams are holding their opponents to under 37% shooting from the field in league games. So let's see if those two teams can continue the defensive success and extend their NEC win streaks. And of course, you can catch it all 10 games live, necfrontrow.com. And if you miss any of the action, full game archives are available. And then, of course, for the top plays from the week, every Wednesday here on NEC Front Row, Amber Bepko brings you the NEC 9. So we got a lot on tap, Kyle. We got a whole almost 3/4 of a conference season left on tap, and it's good to be back.
It's definitely good to be back. All right, that's all the time we have for you on this first episode of the NEC Women's Basketball On The Run podcast. Be sure to check us out on necfrontrow.com. For Ralph Ventre, I'm Kyle Turner. We'll see you next time.